What's up, Next Gen Steelers, and welcome to my channel where we talk all things football and all things Steelers. From a young fan, for young fans. Well, that was a very disappointing and sad end of the season. I don't really even want to talk about it. All the stuff that I've talked about all year was there. The underusage of Pat Freiermuth, underusage of Jalen Warren, not throwing to the middle of the field. It was all there. Well, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but these are my final thoughts on the Steelers' 2025 season and a couple of things I would like to see next year. The Steelers were really bad on both sides of the ball in that game. I'm going to start with the offense. Aaron Rodgers could not get any kinds of passes off. Texans defenders were right in his face all the time. Receivers were not getting open. DK Metcalf had 2 key drops. He only had 2 catches. There was no rhythm whatsoever. On that opening drive, things were starting to look promising with Warren getting that nice run and DK taking that short pass for a big gain. But then it all kind of collapsed from there. And the defense did a pretty good job at getting the Steelers the ball right back. C.J. Stroud made a lot of big mistakes, but the Steelers' offense just could not capitalize. The Steelers' run defense was also terrible, giving up 164 rushing yards to Woody Marks and Nick Chubb. A major bright spot was Joey Porter Jr., who went up against Nico Collins and held him to like 3 catches for 20 yards. It was amazing. And he wasn't really flagged at all. The Steelers' game against the Texans was really bad, and the Steelers' season wasn't much better. A lot of things were very ugly this year, like Jonnu Smith's 30 screen pass catches, which was absolutely pitiful considering that last year Smith had 88 catches, and over 60 of those catches were first down throws. So I don't understand why the Steelers couldn't have used him better. Also, Pat Freiermuth was like non-existent this year. Also, considering that last year he had 65 catches, this year he got like 35. And that's really sad because Pat consistently got open and he didn't have many drops. He's just a very consistent player, but one thing that is not consistent is his usage. Also, Jalen Warren was not utilized nearly enough. The Steelers were the best team at stopping Jalen Warren because he was pretty much unstoppable for a while. He was getting very consistent gains on first and second down, and the Steelers just for some reason moved away from that. Kenneth Gainwell was a bright spot, I thought. He started off pretty bad, and then that Minnesota game was a real turning point in his season. And he ends up leading the team in receptions and being second on the team in rushing yards. So I think Gainwell had a really good year and is definitely worthy of an extension. I think the DK Metcalf move was definitely a plus. I've heard a lot of people saying that we should not have traded Pickens and then gotten Metcalf. But Metcalf still had a decent year with about 60 catches for 850 yards and 6 touchdowns. He was also a consistent blocker, which Pickens was not. Another plus was yards after the catch. Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell obviously played a huge role in that, but last year the Steelers had no yards after the catch from their receivers. This year, DK Metcalf did really good after the catch. Some other receivers made some nice plays after the catch, like Calvin Austin had some nice ones. And of course the tight ends, especially Darnell Washington, who had a ton of yak, and he made a lot of big plays, like that 31-yard catch and run with that awesome stiff arm. On defense, the Steelers were pretty bad this year, considering how good they were thought to be. But they did get a decent amount of turnovers this year. One thing they could not do was defend the middle of the field. They also did get decent amounts of sacks, but they were really killed when the quarterback was just able to get the ball out in under 2 seconds. Well, I think that this season definitely shook a lot of things up for the Steelers, including the fact that Mike Tomlin stepped down as coach. This is going to be a very interesting season, as whoever steps in for Tomlin is going to inherit a team that for 19 years had the same head coach. It'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out. I appreciate what Tomlin's done in town, not a single losing season and a Super Bowl win, but it was time to move on. So it'll be really interesting to see what 2026 looks like. One thing that has to be done is the Steelers have to throw over the middle more in 2026. It's always there for other teams. The Steelers had a lot of great weapons for attacking the middle of the field. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, DK Metcalf. They definitely need to get a lot more productive there next season. And it's going to be very important that they get a coordinator and or head coach with that mindset. I think it's also very important that the Steelers get their franchise quarterback this year. Whether that is a youngish free agent like maybe Malik Willis, or if that's a rookie in this year's draft, they've got to get him. It's been way too long of having old quarterbacks. Aaron did really good in Pittsburgh compared to all the other quarterbacks that have been here since Roethlisberger. But it's time. We can no longer have 40-year-old quarterbacks getting sacked every other play. Finally, the Steelers have to get a WR2 this year. I don't care if he's a veteran. I don't care if he's a rookie. We just need to get him. DK Metcalf cannot win games on his own. Calvin Austin is definitely more of a 3. And the Steelers don't seem to be willing to use Pat Freiermuth. So it's very important that they get their WR2 this year. And not just a backup for Metcalf, but a guy who can be like Devontae Smith for A.J. Brown. Well, guys, this season sure has been a blast to cover. I've loved every second of it. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I will be taking a break until April when I'll be releasing my mock draft. Alright guys, that's it for this season. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Here we go Steelers, and I will see you next time.